an NWO show. You guys tried it, but there was no consistency there. So it made me think somebody somewhere thought it was tough to book. Am I off base?
No. I mean, no.
So there's one thing that I've always wondered about Eric Bischoff and his plan to make NWO its own brand and give Nitro to NWO, and that's basically how that would have worked. So on a post Survivor Series live stream, I decided to super chat him and ask him this very question. Let's see how Eric answers.
The idea books itself and prints its own money.
Yeah.
You just have to sit back and take it.
KV Talks Wrestling says, how would an NWO brand have worked? How are you planning on building a show around a heel stable? I know the brand got super hot, Eric, where maybe we felt like it's viable from an advertising standpoint. But as far as structuring and formatting a show, that would have been pretty challenging, right?
Why?
Well, I just feel like you only did the sold out pay-per-view where it was an all NWO themed pay-per-view one time. So if it was easy and successful, it felt like you would have continued that. I just look at that and think, hey, they tried it. Maybe it didn't work. I know when there was the NWO takeover of Nitro, it was a major channel changer. You lost a lot of viewers, and maybe that was a production thing. I just don't feel like I ever saw the NWO version of the program really work as a quarter hour or an hour. Obviously, them taking over WCW and the infighting does. But as far as the presentation of it being an NWO show, you guys tried it, but there was no consistency there. So it made me think somebody somewhere thought it was tough to book. Am I off base?
No. I mean, no. Nobody sat down and said, wow, we tried these two things and it's too hard to book, so let's not do it. And I know that's not what you said, but that's kind of the implication. We never got to the point where we could have, where NWO could have its own show. But think about it this way. I'm the NWO. I'm the mouthpiece for the NWO. Now I've got my own show, and Ric Flair or Sting or some figurehead, high profile figurehead, has the WCW show. So I'm going to book people who aren't necessarily part of the official NWO crew necessarily. It's like they own the company, but they're not going to wrestle in every match. They would just control who wrestled on the NWO show and who didn't. Some of those people may end up in the NWO. Some people may be trying to get into the NWO. I don't know how we would have figured it out on a match-by-match basis, but there would have been a lot of talent that would have been a part of an NWO roster who weren't necessarily part of the NWO and weren't necessarily heels.
So I kind of get more of what his vision for the brand was. I still don't think it would have worked, but at least I kind of get what his vision was, because what confused me whenever they talked about making NWO its own brand is how do you center one whole show, like one whole brand, toward a heel faction? Because to make a wrestling show, you have to have heels and you have to have faces and they have to battle out. But if you just have a whole show dedicated to just that heel brand, how would you have booked that? So it sounded like Eric would have had, WCW wrestlers or something go to the NWO show and wrestle there or whatnot. Which, okay, because I was thinking, it's like, well, if it's just nothing but NWO people, do the NWO people like wrestle each other? You know what I mean? Are there going to be face NWO members and heel NWO members? Like, I was just like, what are the logistics of this? Like, how would this have worked? So what it sounded like is that, he would have had WCW wrestlers go on the NWO brand or something and wrestle against NWO guys or something. But, like Conrad said, like a one-off show, that's one thing. But a regular brand? Like, would there have been... Because they make it sound like it's Raw and SmackDown. Like they're two individual companies underneath the WWE banner, So how would that have worked for the NWO brand? Would there have been storylines on the NWO brand? What would those storylines have been like? That always just got me wondering. And so it sounds like he had a little bit of a vision where he would have had maybe WCW wrestlers go to the NWO show and wrestle there, which, yeah, I could see that working for a couple of shows, maybe even one-off specials here and there. But as a regular brand, I don't, long term, I don't see how that would have worked. This was a good little answer from Eric, but I would like to see more in depth because the reason why I super chatted this question was because I never seen anyone ask him this. I never actually heard anyone ask Eric, hey, how is this brand supposed to work? So if Eric or anyone catches wind of this, and I would love to see an actual 83 weeks podcast, one episode dedicated to maybe how this would have worked, how he would have planned an actual NWO brand. And yeah, the logistics of it and everything. Just how would the storylines have been? Would it have just been WCW guys coming over feuding with NWO guys? Would there have been babyface NWO members against heel NWO members? Would there be storylines within the show? And what would those storylines have looked like? These are questions that I've always been curious about ever since he mentioned that NWO was supposed to take over Nitro and become its own brand. What do you guys think about this, though? What are your theories? How would have a brand like that have worked? Would it have worked? What do you think about Eric's answer here? Sound off in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. You'll really be helping me out a lot. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies for you on the screen for you to click away and enjoy.